In today's video, we're flying Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest airline and proud member of the Star Alliance. We're flying in business class aboard the 787. I'm Ewan Wilson, former pilot and airline executive. I now spend half my life reviewing airlines and feeding my unbridled passion for travel. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video, and click that notification button. New videos out each week. Well, g'day from Hong Kong. Today, well this evening, I'm flying Ethiopian Airlines in business class. Now, Ethiopian Airlines is a fascinating story. It's an airline that's been around since 1945. It's owned by the state of Ethiopia, and it's Africa's largest airline. And interestingly, it's the fourth largest airline in the world if measured by countries served. And it just goes to show they have a number of Fifth Freedom flights that they operate around the world. Come and join me as we test this airline out. Now, they're a proud member of Star Alliance. They are apparently are particularly good. Let's go and try them. Come with me. Just enough time to visit the Singapore Airlines lounge. Few options in Hong Kong as being part of the Star Alliance, but it was time to board. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Cheers. Hello. Thank you.
Other side, please.
Cheers. Thank you. Well, welcome on board Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest airline. Already been welcomed with a hot towel, which is lovely. You get a real sense there's an African vibe. They have the video playing, African music. The crew's uniform is quite lovely. The purser's scarf is just beautiful. It should be a really interesting flight. Let's discover this unique airline. Well, you have to say that the cabin is vibrant. I love the red. I'm not totally sold on the green-yellow mix, but it is vibrant and spectacular. So the champagne served. The purser was saying that she is in traditional Ethiopian dress, which is quite lovely. So the amenity kit is a very bright red. You wouldn't lose it. It seems to hold a number of goodies. Let's discover it together. I'll turn the camera so that you can look at it. It's quite cool that the zipper tags are in the shape of wings. Let's have a look. So we have some very bright coloured socks, a hand sanitizer, which is always great, a mask, earplugs, lip balm, and an aftershave, toothbrush, and eye shades. The bag is one of those that is handy in the sense that you can just hang it up as your toiletry bag. So overall, quite a nice little amenity kit from Ethiopian. Let's have a quick look at the IFE. It has obviously television, movies, audio, games, flight map, and menu. The movies are broken into categories. There certainly appears to be a number of movies. I'm sure I'll be able to find something I would like to watch amongst all of that. So they've just delivered the menu, and I'm really quite impressed. It's just a 2-hour flight, 2.5 hours to Bangkok. And quite often airlines try to, long-haul airlines try to skimp a little and don't publish a menu, but Ethiopian does. And there's no easy way to film a menu. So let me tell you what the options are. So it's a hot, light meal, and it starts with a salad, iceberg lettuce, roasted chicken, and cherry tomatoes, red pepper. Now the mains, we've got 3 options: chicken breast pan fried, halibut fillet pan fried, or grilled beef tenderloin. That sounds quite nice. I think I'll go with the beef. And bread selection, and then dessert, which is a cherry cheesecake with a raspberry compote on the side, and cheese and crackers, and Ethiopian coffee or tea selection, all of which sounds quite divine. So that's really quite impressive. Quite a nice little menu. So having now had some time to look at the cabin, it's a 2-2-2 configuration, and it reminds me of both Sri Lankan Airlines and Philippine Airlines, their seat layout. It's a lie flat bed. It's quite comfortable. It's actually, quite a nice product. There's not a lot of divider space, so if there was someone else sitting next to me, it doesn't have a large partition, but it certainly is not unpleasant. So we're slightly behind our pushback time, and to kill some time I thought I'd give you some interesting information. Ethiopian has 144 aeroplanes. They fly to 131 destinations. Passenger numbers for the 21-22 was 8.6 million, which is pretty amazing. And in 22-23, aircraft numbers went up to 147 and 134 destinations. They just keep getting bigger. Well, great news, the door's closed. That's always a good sign. Pushback's about to happen. Some last-minute passengers have just come on board. Last interesting fact about Ethiopian, before I bore you to tears. They have the largest aviation university in Africa. And so they train, it's ICAO registered, recognised by ICAO, and so that's where they train all the pilots and aircraft technicians and cabin crew, which is handy for Africa. So push back, and we'll be on our way. So what a beautiful looking meal. Linen laid, tray with each item already placed, served. The food looks divine. Full metal cutlery, warmed buns. As I said, I've gone for the steak, and It just looks lovely. Let's now try to taste it. I've also gone with the French rosé. I'm sure that's going to come. So it's a relatively short flight, and I ordered a Bloody Mary cocktail that arrived pretty quickly after takeoff, and then they served the meal pretty much at the same time. And also ordered a glass of French rosé, which is, well, I'm about to test it. Very nice. Perfect for me, too sweet for Monique, but I quite like it. Now, the cutlery is beautifully embossed with Ethiopian. It's always a little test I like to do. So let's now try the steak. See if it's as good as Gulfier that I had recently. Excuse me, Singapore Airlines, which was out of this world. So let's try it. Very tender, nice. I like my steak sort of medium rare. This is sort of more towards well done. Monique would love it. It's very nice though. So in the end, the steak was actually delicious. The more I went into it, the more it was sort of medium to medium rare, and it was really lovely. The salad was pretty mediocre. I'm not quite sure the chicken, but it just didn't come together well. The cheesecake I'm about to try. So it's a cherry cheesecake. And that's a little dry, so and pretty tasteless, so I won't be finishing that. So overall the meal was okay, but it's never a great sign when I can't finish a cheesecake. But the steak was delicious. The French rosé wine, lovely. Could they improve it? Yeah, look, I think if they had set the tray separately rather than just deliver the whole meal on the single tray. But I get the time saving argument. The salad was a real non-starter. They need to improve that, and the cherry cheesecake was disappointing. Okay, but nothing spectacular. So, I'm 5'10", and I can't quite touch the bottom with my feet. So if you're at least 6 foot, I think you'll be pretty comfortable. It does get slightly narrowed down by your feet, and it's a little narrow up here over the chest, so probably the best way is to sleep on your side. The pillow is quite comfortable. The bed itself is quite comfortable. Now the crew told me that on Ethiopian they don't provide pajamas, and they don't provide a mattress topper either. But having now lay down on the bed, look at it, it's quite comfortable, and I don't think I'd have any difficulty getting a little bit of sleep. In fact, I might just do that right now. We'll see you when I wake up. Cheers. So let's talk about Ethiopian Airlines. I've enjoyed my flight. I found them to be good. The price was incredibly inexpensive, and again, it's a fifth freedom route between Bangkok and Hong Kong, or Hong Kong and Bangkok for Ethiopian, which basically means fifth freedom is a route which doesn't include the home country of the carrier. And so they have the right to pick up and drop off passengers between two city pairs that isn't in Ethiopia. And what that means is quite often the flights are very competitively priced because they're competing against local airlines that fly that shorter sector frequently. And often the way Fifth Freedom flights operate, it's at the tail end or the beginning of a long haul flight, and so they're not at the best corporate travel times, usually late at night or in the middle of the day. And so I paid 471 New Zealand dollars for this flight, which is roughly 230 US dollars, slightly more, 240 odd US dollars for business class for a 2.5 hour flight. So that's really good value. I found booking on the internet, on their IBE, Internet Booking Engine, on their website, very difficult. And my credit card didn't like what I was doing, so in the end I had to go to a third-party booking engine, Expedia, in New Zealand, and the transaction went through fine. So it's really affordable. Look, they are I would not hesitate to fly with them. The 787 is a great aircraft. The crew were lovely, clearly competent. The in-flight service was friendly. The food was okay. The steak was particularly good. The rest wasn't as good. The wine was lovely. The lie flat bed is definitely good. The IFA, the in-flight entertainment, is pretty good. So overall, I would say it's a very good airline, and you should give it some thought.